Okay, today we're going to be making a wreath using this Grinch heart sign. This was a design I came up with myself. Searched on Google and didn't really see too many out there. People love the Grinch at Christmas time, and since the theme of the movie is how his heart swells and grows over the course of it, I thought that I would do a Valentine's wreath. I've had some positive feedback on it, so I thought I would make one on the live tonight. We'll talk a little bit about how you can either make this sign yourself or get this sign for yourself, because I did make it so you can't buy it anywhere, except I'm going to have one available only in my Etsy shop. Okay. And then also I wanted tonight, since I'm new to this, I wanted to take the time and show a few of the wreath designs that I have done, to kind of give you an idea of my abilities and my style, and just a little bit of what I've done. I have recently, these are the Valentine's Day that I've done. I can get it down. Okay, so this one is 28 inches by 28 inches. As you can see, it's good size. Lots of ribbon. It's made on a pine base. With mesh and ribbon tails, and then there's roses and hearts throughout. And then up above it I have a pet themed one that I did. I actually designed this one, even though it's Valentine's Day and has some hearts on it. I designed that so that it could be used past the Valentine's Day season, and not just be specifically limited to one holiday. And then back here I have more like a rustic or country farmhouse theme Valentine's Day wreath that I've done as well, which as you can see, these two are similar in the design to the one that we're going to do tonight for the Grinch. Okay. And then I also want to mention another housekeeping item before I get started. Either later tonight or early in the morning, I'm going to be doing a Mardi Gras wreath on live. I didn't have that posted on my page, but since I need to get it done, I'm going to go ahead and do it. These are the ribbons that I'll be using and the sign. So if you get a chance to catch that, I know everybody can't stay on live forever, but if you can't catch the live, maybe you can watch it on a replay. Okay, and then to jump in and get started, I'm going to turn the camera down. Oh, and I need to turn on my comments. Okay, so as I mentioned, I did make this sign. I did not make the Grinch. I don't think we're really authorized to do that, so I'll tell you where I got the Grinch from. But I did make the sign. And I have only one that will be available in my Etsy shop, and in addition to the one that I'm going to use tonight to put on a wreath. If you wanted to make your own, I got the little Grinch guy here from orientaltrading.com, and it's actually a 3D Grinch tabletop sign craft kit, and in that kit you get 12 of these guys. And it does include this little glitter heart that's in the middle. And then of course I just took off the tabletop part that made him stand up and used him on the sign. The base of it is a wood heart sign, white, painted white, that came from the Dollar Tree. And then the love stickers that go around it, well actually this base red heart came from Family Dollar. And you get a pack of 12, and they're just called foam hearts. And they actually come in a variety of colors. There's purple, pink, and red. Of course, with the Grinch, I used the red to put underneath of him. Now, I did trim these down a little bit because they were a little bit too big in comparison to my wood base. So you may want to do the same if you do decide to make your own. The love stickers also came from the Family Dollar. And it's a 25-piece pack of stickers. And you get hearts and the word love in a couple different sizes. They're light pink, magenta, and red, and they're all really glittery. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera. And then I have the couple little red hearts down here at the bottom, which also came from the Family Dollar, sorry. And they're called gem stickers. And you get 117 of them for $1. So that's a pretty good deal. And then they also have them in pink. These don't come in a pack together. I just put mine together. But you can buy them separately, the red and the pink. And then last but not least, the most important, the little green hearts to go with our Grinch theme and kind of tie him into the Valentine's season. I had on hand, I bought these a while back on eBay in a large lot of gems, but they're tiny little green hearts, and they just have like a flat back, and they're like little gems. I imagine you can probably find these at most craft shops. I would think like Hobby Lobby or Michael's. If anybody does want to make the sign and cannot find these on Amazon or anywhere, feel free to message me, and I can make a few of these available in my Etsy shop to you if you want to do your own sign. Okay, now, having said that, oh, and I also wanted to mention that I used Mod Podge to seal everything down. And even though, for example, the love are stickers, and these little red hearts are gem stickers, I just used a little bit of Mod Podge underneath of those to secure them and make sure that they're not going to come off at any point in the future, especially since I'm putting this on a wreath. Okay, give me a second to try to find my comments. There we go. Okay, and like the wreath I did last night, I'm starting out with this 14-inch wire form. This is from Family Dollar, their floral and garden section, and they are not Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, and they are $1.25. And then the way that I'm going to go over again how I wire the wreath when I'm doing this design. There are 6 sections on each of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a section is considered in between 2 crossbars. So 1 section, and there are 6 of those total. And on each section, I put 3 pipe cleaners. These are also Crafter Square brand from the Dollar Tree. I know they have these at Christmas time, and I believe they'll have them around when they have their St. Patrick's Day decor. They will have them. Okay, so I'm just going to put a few of these on to show you how I do it. If anybody wants more detailed explanation on any of the steps that I just shortcut to not draw out the video too long, shoot me a message. I'll either help you one-on-one, or I can even do a separate video on just that particular step and be more detailed about how to do it. So in each section, like I said, we're going to place 3. Your first pipe cleaner is going to go on the inside 2 wires, right in the middle of the 2 crossbars. So try to get it as close to the middle as you can. And then when you do your next 2, you're going to come between this pipe cleaner and the bar, put it on the outside 2 rings in between those 2. Same thing on the opposite side between this pipe cleaner. You'll come over halfway between the pipe cleaner and this bar and put it on the outside 2 rings. So we'll do 3 of them here to demonstrate. This one goes in the middle on the inside 2 wires. We're putting it halfway in between the crossbars. Make sure that when you twist and form your knot, you do it on the inside bar because it gives your mesh more stability. It actually rests on the frame and it won't be wobbly. So that's our first one in the middle, in the inside section. Now we're going to do 2 more out here. Halfway between the pipe cleaner and the crossbar on the left. Twist it slightly, not so tight that you bend your frame, but you want it to kind of be snug and not move. And then I also push mine down because it gives it a little bit more security. Same thing on the right side, halfway between the pipe cleaner and the crossbar. And then I push my inside cleaners to the inside, my outside ones to the outside. That keeps them out of my way when I'm working around the wreath, as you'll see here in a little bit when we do the mesh. So this is what it looks like in each section. In between this crossbar and this crossbar, you'll have 3 pipe cleaners just like that, and you'll do that all the way around for 6 sections. That gives you a total of 12 pipe cleaners on the outside and 6 on the inside. Okay, and so to speed things up a little bit, I have already done the pipe cleaners and finished those on this one. And then I also started placing the mesh, because doing the 12 pieces of mesh around the outside can be a little bit time consuming, so I thought that would be a way I could speed it up. Move that out of my way. Okay, we are using this very beautiful, shiny, metallic red Deco Mesh. It's pretty thick, it's pretty substantial, good quality. I purchased this from Craft Outlet, and that is what is going to go around the bottom. So you will need 12 pieces of this, and you will cut this mesh to, I cut mine to 16 inches. And I wanted to also show how I cut my mesh, because I didn't do that yesterday, and I thought, I don't have a cutting mat, I don't have a rotary cutter, I don't have any of the ribbon boards that a lot of the crafters use. So what I do is I have this piece of cardboard that is 16 inches long, and I just take my mesh, start at the top, I'm not sure if you can see, start it at the top, and I just wrap it around and around and around, and I usually do 6 pieces at a time, and then you just cut all those pieces at once across the top. Make sure that you keep a hold of your mesh so it doesn't slide off, turn it over and cut across the top, and then you have your 6 pieces of mesh in just 2 cuts. And just to mention real quickly, I do the same thing with my ribbon tails. I have another piece of cardboard, 12 inches, wrap my ribbon around. I usually also do those 6 at a time, and then just cut the top, hold your ribbon so it doesn't move, and flip it over and cut the bottom. 2 cuts, and you have 6 pieces of your 12-inch ribbon. Okay, so we're going to do the crumple style again. You'll see me do that a lot. It's one of my favorites. It gives you good thickness and fullness. I will show you, it creates a beautiful design too. Nice little ruffle effect. And then you have these wavy layers that kind of fold over each other as you place them on, when I show you how we do that. So I'm going to get my first piece. And the way we do a crumple is, I'm going to fold this out because I noticed that you couldn't see this yesterday. Okay, so you just fold it over, and then we're going to create like a little curl. And I'd go 1, 2, 3, and then I use this clip, which is actually a bag clip from the Dollar Tree. You get a pack of 5 or 6 there, and hold my curl with that, and then turn it around. Do the same thing on the opposite end. 1, 2, 3. It's actually 4. Turn it completely over with the clip facing away from you, and then just slightly gather it in the middle and pull it to yourself in little sections at a time. The reason you do little sections at a time is because it gives you this nice little wavy effect, like a ruffle. And then the end result, we take our clip off, is a bow. Looks like a little mesh bow. Okay, so we're going to put this into our wreath frame. We're going to use our next pipe cleaner, separate those 2 out. I put my finished edges on the inside and the outside on my bottom row here. So make sure when you're placing them that you don't do it this way. That's a whole different design and style, and we'll give you different measurements. When I do this design, I do it with the finished edges on the inside and the outside. And then make sure you squeeze that pipe cleaner down in there good. Give it at least 2 good twists. And you're ready to do your next one. And you repeat this process all the way around, which I've already done, I think, 6 of them for us. So we have, or maybe I did a little bit more, I think we have 4 left. So again, just so everybody can see the crumple style, how to do that. Fold it over on the end. You're gonna make a curl, roll it. So 1, 2, 3. Put your clip so that it stays done. Turn it around where the clip is facing away from you. Repeat that on the other end. And turn it over and ruffle, 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 ruffle. Pull it towards you till you get to the end, pinch them together and remove your clip. Place it in the exact same way, remembering to put your finished edges to the inside of the wreath frame and the outside. Twist twice. You can twist 3 times there if you want to. It depends what type of pipe cleaner and what type of mesh I'm using, how many times I twist there. Open up my next pipe cleaner so that it's ready to go. And I'll show this one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clip it. Turn it around, clips away from you. Do it again. Making these nice 2 little rolls on each end, and then flip it over completely so your curls are down, and scrunch it. Place it in your frame. Open up our next pipe cleaner so it's ready. And just do the same thing. We're going to do that for every piece of mesh, 12 total pieces on the bottom of the frame. Anybody that is on the live and sticks with me through the end, I will have a nice little bonus for you to thank you for watching my video all the way through. I'm also looking for ideas and things that I can do on my videos. I've thought about doing giveaways, drawings and things like that. If anybody had any suggestions for that stuff, I'd certainly love to hear them, like ideas of what I can do to engage people and have them interact. Do you keep the ends tucked in? Yes, you do, Brian. And you use 2 rings instead of only putting the pipe cleaners on 1 ring, because that gives you more stability. If you only have it on 1 ring, it is going to roll around that ring, and your mesh and your ribbons that you put on are going to move. And you want it to be as stable as possible. Okay, we've got 1 left. Got my mesh caught on each other. This one in, and when you put the last one in, make sure that you're tucking this side of it underneath of the piece that is already on there, the piece that you originally started with. Pull those out so that they overlap the last one you're putting in. That way you have a uniform look all the way around. And then this is what we have so far. I'm going to show you so that if you're doing your own, you know what it's supposed to look like. As you can see, at this point it's still kind of thin. I don't want anybody attempting to do this to get discouraged, because the end result will fill all of that in, and it won't be. But you can see that mesh is beautiful, creates a very nice pattern that's uniform all the way around. Okay. So then the next step is for us to take our ribbon tails and place on top of this first layer of mesh. And I'm going to do them a little bit differently, probably than you've seen other people do them, and probably, well, definitely different than I did them last night. And I'll explain why that is. Oops. Okay, so these are the ones that will go on the bottom. We have, to start with, this red polka dot on a white background with the little light green circles, and the polka dots are glitter. I chose this because this is Grinch, so we have to have some green, but I didn't want to turn this into a Christmas looking wreath, so I went with the lime green, which also matches the lime green in the Grinch, and I thought that would keep it from looking too much like a Christmas wreath. And then I also limited the amount of green that I added to it, as you will see. The next ribbon that we're going to use is a red with white polka dots. And then I wanted to mention this is the 12-inch. I cut these to 12 inches. And then the reason that this is going to be different, I was saying earlier, is because I actually cut these to 6 inches. So what I do is I go ahead and measure it at 12. I dovetail my ends to get the V, and then I cut those in half to give me 6. So I do 3 of them at a time. And I'll show you why I do that and explain that when we're putting them on the wreath. And then I also have, like I said, when I had to add a little green because we're dealing with the Grinch, but I wanted to stick with this lighter green. So we have this lighter kind of metallic green that will go around the outside, also the bottom layer. And then I thought this would go perfectly. It's the white with red trim and has the little red hearts down the middle to tie in our Valentine's Day theme for the Grinch. Okay, so what we're going to do is I do the little 6-inch pieces first. And the reason that I do that is because when you use 2 full pieces on the bottom, so say I was going to use these 2 full pieces, and you fold these and you put them on the bottom, what you end up with as you go around and create your layers and then build on top of that is you end up with a lot of ribbon that is hidden, so you can't see it at all, and I felt like that was a waste. Another reason that I changed my technique here is because I did not like the way, even when I laid the ribbons in separately, they didn't seem to lay coming out from the wreath the way that I wanted them to. They're a little bit off, a little bit crooked, and they cover each other up. No matter how I tried to angle them, I couldn't get it the way I wanted it to look. So I thought of trying this, and I actually really liked it. I decided that I was going to do half ribbons with 1 full ribbon in each pipe cleaner all the way around the bottom. And when I did that, I really liked the result, so I'm going to show you that tonight. So we'll start, we're going to do the red and white first. Make sure you can see. Only one end is dovetailed. You're going to take the non-dovetailed end. Let me show you that again. I almost forgot how to dovetail. I kept this one piece for the Mardi Gras wreath I'm going to do later to show you how to do that. So you just take the wired edges, fold them in half, and kind of press the end of it there a little bit. Make sure that it's lined up and even. Take your scissors and you're going to cut from the folded edge up to the corner of the wired edge. So you just cut however sharp of an angle you want, and then when you open it up, you have a nice dovetail. And you can do, I usually do 3 to 4 ribbons at a time. I've seen people do much more than that at one time. It's just easier for me to do it that way. So then once you have your dovetails done, now we're ready to put them on. You scrunch the end that's not dovetailed, the straight edge, and then your pipe cleaner is opened like a V. You just lay that in so that your piece of ribbon lays straight out on your mesh. Straight out in the center of your piece of mesh. And when you finish twisting, I do 1.5 twists. Your pipe cleaners will be with one towards you and one away from you. And so instead of open like a V towards you, it's open like a V up in the air with one towards you and one away. And the reason I do that is because when we lay our next piece of ribbon, our 12-inch piece in, I'm gonna go ahead and do that just to show you. I scrunch it in the middle, find your middle spot. I V that back towards me to create a V shape. Make sure your print pattern is the right side up, and you place that in on top, making sure that your half piece is coming straight out between your V. Twist that down in there good and tight. Now here I twist usually about 4 times, make sure it's secure. We're done with the pipe cleaner, so we'll cut that off and then press that down in there and squeeze it to secure it. And then I just fluff out my ribbon to make sure it's laying the way I want it to lay. And then I'm going to show you here that you can then see every piece of ribbon that I've put in there. We don't have no overlap or a overlay or having, I feel like when it's 2 full pieces, you have too much ribbon in your pipe cleaner and it causes it to lay funny. This way, everything lays out perfectly. And that is why I came up with my own little technique to do that 6-inch piece in the middle. So then we did the polka dot on the first one, the 6-inch piece. So next we will do the green. And we will rotate those. Again, gonna scrunch the straight edge, not the dovetail edge. And place it straight into the pipe cleaner with it shaped like a V. And twist it 1.5 so that one pipe cleaner is towards you and the other one is away from you. That's so that it is ready to lay your next piece of ribbon in. And then the ribbon that we will match up over the green is the heart ribbon. We're going to do the same thing. Scrunch it in the middle, V it towards you so that it looks like that, and then place it in with the green showing in the middle of your V. Is there another technique you have for your extra pipe stems besides cutting them? Yes, Brian, that might be a video I do at some point in the future. I save these cut pieces because I'm going to make my own picks to use in wreaths, and I'm gonna work these extra pieces of pipe cleaner into that. I don't like to waste much, so I keep nearly everything. And we're just going to repeat this process all the way around. We started with the polka dot, we did the green, and now we're back to the polka dot. Scrunch the straight edge, place it in. This does create a little bit extra work because you have to place the ribbon in at 2 different times, so it's 2 different motions, actions, but I like the way that the result turns out much better. I don't want any of the ribbon wasted. I want to be able to see all my ribbon. Finished with that one, so we cut it off. Do not forget to tuck and squeeze your pipe cleaner to secure your ribbon tails. And we're ready for the next one. And I always pull the next pipe cleaner up to get it ready before I scrunch my ribbon. So we did the red and white polka dot. Next we're going to do the green. And hopefully you can see here what I'm talking about with how you're going to have some overlay of your ribbons. That's perfectly fine, but you can see every single piece of ribbon that I put in. So everything in my design will show all the way around. Scrunch the straight edge. Twist it in. I always pull up and curl it so that it kind of curls around the mesh. And now we're ready for the heart. I try to keep, when I have a heart pattern like this, the hearts are all running the same direction. I try to make sure I keep them going the same way when I'm putting them in. Two, three, four. I'm hoping that people will like this video because it's a unique idea. It's not something that you see tons and tons and tons of out there. And lots of people love the Grinch, so I'm hoping that people will really love the video. So we've done the green, next we're on to the polka dot. I'd also like to hear ideas for future wreaths, designs that you maybe have thought of but you can't seem to find, or you know, something. I'm happy to do custom designs and things like that, and I'm always looking for new ideas and feedback. So if anybody has anything like that, ideas or suggestions or requests, just reach out to me, shoot me a message. Did the red polka dot, so now we're doing the green. And you're doing 12 total ribbons around the bottom, and since we're alternating them, you will need 6 of each ribbon for this bottom layer. Just make sure when you scrunch the straight edge of this and you put that little tail in there, make sure you grab a hold of that really good with your pipe cleaner so that does not pull loose. You could, if you wanted to, even cut it would leave a little extra length on it to give you more back there to secure it with. Oops. I almost put that in the wrong one. And if you happen to be catching this on a replay, still watch to the end, because the reward that I'm going to give will be available to you even if you're watching a replay. Okay, we did the green, we're back to the polka dot. I also probably should explain, when I'm designing my wreaths, when I'm trying to figure out which ribbons to layer together, I do have a method to that. Some may be wondering why I put the polka dots together and the green behind the hearts. The reason that I chose to layer them that way is to spread out the green. In other words, if I were to put the red polka dot behind the red hearts, I would have all red in each of those sections. And if I put the green with the green and the polka dots, then all of my green would be in that section with very little red. By alternating them the way that I did, it spreads out and gives me a little hint of green in each section. Okay, we're back to the green. Check and make sure that I'm still in the view of the camera. It's easy to forget. Make sure each time you have your hearts facing the same way as the way you started. I've mixed them up before and had to take them out and switch them around. Another polka dot. We get just a few more of these to go. So if anybody's catching this on the replay and you have any questions, feel free to message me or leave comments. I do try to check that every day and respond to any questions that you might have or feedback. Okay, we did red, so now we're on green. We need a heart one. Okay, we got one more polka dot and then one more green, and we'll be finished with the second layer. First layer of ribbon, but the second layer overall on the wreath. You may also notice that the Deco Mesh sometimes little pieces come off of it, and that's perfectly normal. That's why I do the crumple method and curl those ends under, because it protects those cut edges and prevents the fraying. But when you're working with it, you will notice in your workspace that you have pieces of it. Of course, you have less fraying with the higher quality mesh, and then with lower quality mesh, of course, you will have a little bit more fraying. Okay, our last one. Oops. Keep the hearts going the same direction. And then once we get that second layer on, this is what it looks like. Very pretty. I like the color contrast. Except for the hearts, it does kind of still look a little Christmassy. It won't in the end when we have our heart sign and our triple hearts everywhere, little green hearts everywhere. Okay, so then the third layer, or the next row up, will be some more mesh, Deco Mesh. I chose to stick with the metallic red, but I did choose a different type. The first one is the striped metallic red. I believe this one is called, it's either called check mesh or window pane mesh. But as you can see, it has little squares. It's a little more see-through. And I wanted that because then, even after I put my cripples on, you'll still see some of that ribbon through it on the bottom row. Okay. Let's separate these real quick. Should have probably done that first. And you'll definitely see when I'm pulling these apart how this sticks together. And you have to just be careful when you're separating it. When they get stuck, cut them. Don't pull them real hard. Okay. And you also see the fraying that I was referring to with all the little red pieces. Okay. Now, before we go to put those on, remember we put 6 pipe cleaners on the inside ring. We're now going to work with those, but before we work with those, we're going to have to pull those to the outside so that we're still building on top of our design. So you will just reach in between where you see them. You see them here in the middle. Reach in between the 2 pieces of mesh, grab the pipe cleaner and pull it to the outside. Do that all the way around for all 6 pieces. And I'm gonna mesh crisscross there. It's easier for me to do that laying down. Okay, so just pull all 6 of them out to the outside so you can keep building around the outside of the wreath. Our sign is going to go in the middle. Okay. So now we're ready, and we're going to, even though we're using a different type of mesh, we're going to continue doing the same design or the same mesh method. And that is the crumple. So we're gonna just do the same process. Curl the end, and these kind of have little squares, so I try to do my curls right where the squares are. That makes sense. Turn it around. Same thing on the other end. The other purpose that the clip serves, other than holding your curl together, is it keeps that mesh from curling up on you as you're trying to work with it. Scrunch it towards us. Remembering to do small little scrunches so you get the ruffle effect and the bow look. And then we're going to, this time, place this mesh the opposite direction. So last time we put the finished edges on the inside and the outside. On this third layer, we're going to rotate that and put it in the pipe cleaner with the finished edges facing to the left and the right. Do not twist this, pull this too tight. Just pull it down in there loosely and give it one twist. The reason you don't pull it too tight is you'll pull it down in through your other mesh and it'll kind of get swallowed up inside of your wreath. Okay, so we have 6 rings, so 6 of these to do all the way around. This layer goes much faster because it's half the amount of work. Whoops. And to show again, we've got these squares. I just fold over to the first square and then I just try to stay, each roll is a square. Doesn't come out perfectly, but that just gives me a guideline to kind of keep my curls the same on each side. place it in with the finished side to the left and the right. Pull it, but not too tightly, and twist one time. And then I usually kind of pull these out, make sure they're resting side by side and laying nicely. And they look like a little bow once it gets put on there. You can always do what I'm doing and use something to lay on there if your mesh is curling up on you too much to work with, to hold it flat while you curl the first end. Oops, turned it the wrong way. 2, 3, 4. Scrunch. Squeeze the two pieces in the middle together. Place it in with the finished edges to the left and right. Don't pull too tight, and then straighten it out. Make it look like a bow. Kind of line up the edges of each one of them, and you're ready to do the next one. Fold it over. 2, 3, 4. Turn it around, clip away from you, and do the same thing. 2, 3, 4. Flip it completely over to where your curls are down, and scrunch it in the middle. Sure they're touching, line them up so they're nice and uniform. We got 2 more. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. If anybody needs more help with the purple method, if I'm going too fast with this or something, you know, just let me know. Happy to help in any way I can. I'm still learning every day. I think that's something that when you craft never ends. So I like to also help others learn. Okay. I watch these how-to videos several times a week and learn from other crafters. Different techniques and designs and things of that nature. And then I usually, of course, have to add my own twist to it, like with the 6-inch ribbons or the way that I lay my mesh in. I always change something to make it my own. Okay, last one. Not too tight, just making sure that they're laying nicely together on each side. And we now have our 3rd layer in and complete. And as you can see, it's getting nice and full. Be very pretty. And then we have 1 more layer of ribbons to go and our sign. And then it will be finished. Okay, so the top layer of ribbons, you can't have a Grinch sign and not have some Grinch ribbon. Now I did this light green on the bottom as opposed to using the Grinch, and the reason that I did that is because I only have a little bit. I wanted to use the Grinch face that didn't have any kind of Christmas theme stuff on it, because we're doing Valentine's Day, and I only had a little bit of this ribbon, so I decided to use it only on the top where it will be most prominent, and then substitute that underneath with the light green that kind of matches it. So we have these 3 that will go on top, and it will be paired with the heart ribbon that we used on the bottom. Each of these are all cut to 12 inches long and dovetailed on each end. And then of course we will also, tying it all together, be using the red and white polka dot and the white with red and green polka dots. And so we will do these. Of course, you know, these are all 12-inch pieces, so it'll be a little bit different on the top than it was the bottom. We're gonna actually crisscross. And this Grinch face actually goes both ways. So you don't have to worry about whether or not it's upside down. The pattern goes both ways, so you're gonna be okay. The hearts all go in one direction, so you'll need to pay attention to make sure you have those going in the direction you want them to go. And just make your X like I did and scrunch the two in the middle. You end up with an X like this, or like that. And then you're just gonna place it into your mesh with your X. Look, you know, when you're looking at it, it should be in the shape of an X. And then twist these in, pull it kind of snug, but not too tight. You don't wanna sink it down in, and twist a good 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, now I'm not gonna cut these off because I actually have to add something to this wreath, which I forgot to bring with me to show you how to do that. I'm very, very sorry. But on the end of each of these pipe cleaners, I have little red glitter foam hearts. And so to give it more Valentine's Day feel, I just took the little pipe cleaner, which is made of wire, and slid the little foam heart, put a little dab of glue, and slid the little foam heart onto the end of the pipe cleaner. And I did that on both ends, and it makes it look really cute. They kind of wobble a little bit. It's like a bobbly head effect. And if you want to see a picture of what that looks like, you can see that on my Facebook page. I actually, when I decided to do this live, I posted a picture of the finished wreath, so you would be able to see that on there with the hearts. Okay, and we're gonna still rotate like we did on the bottom. So next will be the polka dots. And I always put, I call these two, you know, I always put my most prominent ribbon that I want to display on the top when I'm layering my X. So like my Grinch ribbon, I want that to be the most prominent because that matches my sign and that is my theme. And then same with this red and green, I want that to be the most prominent. So I put it on top with the red polka dot underneath. Just pull it slightly and twist it 4 times, and then fluff up your ribbons. I usually like push them out and then just curl them up towards the end. Sometimes you can just rub your fingers up them like that and it does the job for you. This heavier, this is more like a canvas ribbon, so I like to kind of shape it myself as opposed to just rubbing my fingers up it. Some ribbons curl well that way and others don't. Okay, so now we're back to the heart pattern and the Grinch. I forgot to mention, all of the ribbons that the heart ribbon that I'm using came from Craft Outlet, and last time I checked, I believe they do still have that available. The red polka dot ribbon that I have, I actually got that at Walmart during the Christmas season, but I'm sure that you can probably find that at Craft Outlet as well. Probably numerous other craft stores would have that too. And then the Grinch ribbon I got from Amazon. I think I had to order a pack with 4 different designs to get the one with the face only on there. And if anybody would be interested and want that link, I can provide that in the comments after. Just leave me a comment and let me know. And then the polka dot, the white canvas with the red and green polka dots, I also got that from Amazon. I think they had, I want to say they had 2 rolls of 6 yards each for $8. So that was not bad. Oops, need the polka dot. When I order my ribbons, I order from a multitude of sources because a lot of times what I want, one place, for example, Craft Out always sold out of the ribbons similar to this one. So then I went to Amazon to find something and had luck and even got a good price on it. So I order from a multitude of sources when it comes to especially ribbon. And here we got 2 more. I think taking the time to make sure your ribbon lays nicely is one of the most important steps to having a nice overall wreath when you're finished. That is the last of the ribbon, and this is what we have so far. As you can see, there's Grinch, the hearts, everything shows very nicely, uniformly, all the way around. And the only thing we have left to do is add our sign. So to do that, this is a metal hole punch. I purchased this because you can use it on metal. It also works on the wood signs. This wood heart from the Dollar Tree is not very thick, so it cuts through it pretty easily. And then I purchased this particular one because of the durability. It's all metal. I've had it for quite a while now, and it has not broken on me. I purchased one previously that broke in just a little over a month, so that's why I went with this heavier one. And I'm just gonna, right down here near the bottom, punch a hole. Oops, I need to turn this over. Always wiggle it back out carefully so I don't damage the sign. And then also just up here close to the top, do the same thing. I secure both the top and the bottom of the sign to prevent movement and damage, particularly if I'm making a wreath that I'm going to be shipping to a customer. Don't want it banging around, moving around, getting tore up, tearing up the mesh and the ribbons in the shipping process. Okay, so I'm going to use this 26 gauge red wire. I get this at the Dollar Tree. I wind off a pretty good amount, probably about a foot or a little more. And I have these little teeny pliers. They actually came out of a jewelry repair kit from Walmart. They work perfectly for this. It's really thin, so you don't need anything heavy duty. We'll need 2 pieces, one for the top, one for the bottom. Okay. So then just take the wire, feed it through the hole that we created, pull it through, and on the back of the sign, line up your 2 pieces of wire, making sure you have it fairly even. and then you're going to pull it tight and over the hole that you created in the back and twist it several times. I think I do probably 5 or 6 twists here. You want it over that hole in the back because when you actually place it on your wreath, it gives it more stability than if it's over here on the edge, it'll wobble more. Okay. Same thing in the top hole. Twisting it over the hole in the back. And now we're ready to place it on our sign or our wreath. So then I just have to decide how I want to lay it in. I personally want a Grinch at the bottom and then the 2 at the top, you know, framing kind of a triangle around my sign. So I'm gonna put the V down here and place it in that way. To add it, you're gonna take the 2 pieces of wire that you just added and feed it down through the mesh, in between the pieces of mesh down to the wire frame underneath. Be sure to wrap the wires around 2 bars to give it more security, more stability. And then I twist, once I get them around my 2 bars, I twist it a bunch of times because you do not want this coming loose, and you don't want the weight of your sign pulling your wires loose over time. And your customer has to try to figure out how to fix that, or you, when you get it out of storage if you're using it for personal use. Okay, and then I cut the wires a little bit long. It makes it easier for me when I'm feeding them through and twisting them. So after I get it twisted together nice and secure, I just cut off a little piece. I leave about probably a 2-inch piece, 1.5 to 2 inch piece of wire on there. And then I take that extra wire and I twist it around a bar on the wire frame. And I do that to enable me to push the wire up inside of the wreath form, so that it gives me a nice smooth surface and doesn't scratch my door or somebody else's door. And then we turn it over. I want to make sure that my top layer of mesh is placed the way that I want it. I don't want to mash it all down with my heart sign. Making sure that's all up and showing. And then take the top 2 wires and feed it down through the mesh at the top. Making sure that you go around at least 2 bars on the bottom. Once again, make sure that my top layer of mesh is out of the way, and then pull it down in there. In this case, I want the heart to sit kind of inside the mesh, so I'm pulling it a little bit tighter to pull it down in there. With this design, the mesh frames around the heart really nicely, so I can pull it down just a little bit more as opposed to leaving it floating on the top. The sign also has a 3D effect since it's made with layers. It gives it a 3-dimensional look. So I also like to put those types of signs down into the mesh just a little bit. Not much, because you don't want to bury your sign in your wreath, but just a little bit so that the top layer frames it. Okay. Cut off the extra. And then wrap it around. And it is all finished. And there is the final project. Okay, I hope you liked this. If you liked the wreath, it's available in my Etsy shop. Well, it will be. Probably tomorrow. It's dark out right now. I can't get good pictures. I like to take my pictures in natural light, and I still have to add the little foam hearts. But it'll be in there tomorrow. And then later tonight, I will have one only available of the sign that I made. I will list that tonight. So tonight, one sign will be available, and that's all I have. And then tomorrow, this wreath will be available, and this will be the only wreath like this. I had made one other and it's already sold, so this is the last one I have the materials to make. Okay, and as promised, I'm going to give you a discount code for watching to the end of my video. Even if you joined halfway, as long as you're here at the end, you can get this code. And it's Facebook Live Thank You. It's good for everything in my shop, and you can get 20% off of anything in my shop that you would like to purchase. I did want to mention, not only do I have wreaths and signs and things of that nature, but I do also have gift baskets, gift sets for men, women, children. So I have something for everyone in there if you want to take a little bit of time and peruse. The name of my Etsy shop is Karla's Clever Crafts. That is all with K's and all one word. This is kind of reflective. I hope you'll be able to see that. So Etsy, it's Karla's Clever Crafts. And then I'm also on Pinterest and Instagram and YouTube, all with the same username at Karla's Clever Crafts. All three of those spelled with a K, no spaces. And you can find me on Twitter at Clever Crafts. No Karla's in front of it, just at Clever's Crafts with a K. So I want to thank you for watching. Remember, either later tonight or tomorrow, I'll be doing another with the Mardi Gras wreath. If you want to hop on there and catch it, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, remember to reach out to me. Night.